After learning that the theme for this year's Global Game Jam was bubbles, my team and I started brainstorming how we could create something fun and unique within 48 hours. That is when we landed on the idea of a tiny hamster living inside a bubble, scurrying through a house to collect when cheese for its little ones while being chased by a relentless cat. The initial idea was simple but had a lot of potential for creative gameplay. As the hamster gathers more cheese, it grows bigger and slower, making it harder to evade the rat. Players will need to strategize. Do they rush to the nest with the cheese, one piece of cheese, or risk carrying more, knowing it slows them down? The bubble added an extra layer of charm and also hinted at the fragility of the hamster's situation. We wanted to make sure the game felt satisfying at every level. The joy of collecting cheese, the tension of being chased, and the relief of successfully delivering food to your baby hamsters. With these mechanics in mind, we started designing the 2.5D world. But one challenge stood out immediately. How do we make the 2.5D world visually interesting? Our characters were sprites, but the game had a 3D environment. This meant we needed shadows and lighting that made the world feel cohesive without breaking the cartoony vibe of the hamster and the cat. That is when I got to work on creating a simple custom shader. The goal was to give our sprites proper shadows, so they wouldn't feel out of place. The goal was to give our sprites proper shadows, so they wouldn't feel out of place in the 3D scene. The shader not only adds depth to the characters, but also blends them seamlessly with the environment. Let me show you how it works. With the concept in place and the shader bringing everything together visually, we were ready to dive into the meat of development. Coding the mechanics, designing the levels, and of course, making sure the cat was terrifying enough. With our concept finalized, it was time to dive into development. Over the next 48 hours, we tackled gameplay mechanics, level design, and of course, the all-important balance between fun and challenge. Let me walk you through the key steps we took to bring this hamster's world to life. First, we focused on the heart of the game, the hamster's movement and the cheese carrying mechanics. We wanted the control to feel smooth and responsive, especially since precision is critical when you are being chased by a cat. The main twist was the growing mechanic. Every time the hamster picked up a piece of cheese, its size increased, making it slower and less agile. However, to compensate for this, we gave the hamster the ability to throw the cheese it was carrying, which lightened the load and made it easier to escape from the cat by regaining its previous speed. This created an interesting risk-reward system. Should you carry more cheese to save time, or play it safe with smaller trips? Our next enemy was the mouse, our real enemy. The goal was to make it feel like a real threat without being impossible to avoid. We wrote an AI tracking that followed the hamster except in safe areas like under the table and inside the nest. We were still faster than the cat when carrying one cheese, but when carrying two or more, we become slower than a cat while carrying too much cheese. This kept the gameplay tense but fair, as players could use strategy to escape even in difficult situations. For the level design, we wanted to replicate the feeling of exploring a cozy house, consisting of one kitchen and one room. The house has wooden pads to climb on, tables to hide under, and ample space to maneuver. One of my favorite spaces we designed was kitchen. The counters and under the tables created natural hiding spots. The cat could not reach there. However, after collecting the cheese and slowing down speed, it increased the risk of being caught by the cat waiting for us below. While the mechanics are important, the visuals make everything come alive. The shader we mentioned earlier was just the beginning. We also used dynamic lighting to create a relaxed yet slightly creepy atmosphere, especially when the mouse was near me. A post-process effect that can be adjusted depending on how close the cat gets to us so we can feel the fullest danger. The post-process here works as a local post-process that I added to the cat, and when the camera in the game enters this post-process area, it is directly affected by this effect. Of course, no game jam is complete without bugs and time pressure. Initially, I created the danger effect with the post-process that we see when the cat approaches us using the global post-process at runtime. I was changing the required values according to cat's proximity to us. It was working fine in the Unity editor, but when we got the build of the game to test on the last day, the effect of changing the post-process values at runtime was invalid. Then I switched to the local post-process method. We also spent a lot of time balancing the difficulty. Initially, carrying 2 pieces of cheese made the hamster almost immobile, which wasn't fun. Tweaking the speed and jump height for each stage of growth was a challenge, but it was worth it to make the game feel rewarding and fair. By end of the 48 hours, we had a fully functional game with all the mechanics working together, collecting cheese, delivering it to the nests, and escaping the cat. Seeing everything together was such a satisfying moment and reminded us why we love participating in game jams like this. To keep the game challenging, we added a progression system. As we deliver more cheese to the nests, the hamster grows stronger and carry more pieces at once. But with that comes the added challenge of navigating the house with a larger, more sluggish hamster. It is a satisfying trade-off that keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting. During playtesting, it was so rewarding to watch people strategize, laugh, and scare when the cat got too close. Seeing players connect with the hamster's journey to nests was such a fulfilling experience. Wrapping up this devlog, I just want to say how much of an incredible experience it was to create this game during Global Game Jam. From brainstorming to coding and playtesting, the 48 hours were an intense but deeply rewarding journey. Of course, there's still much we could improve and add, from more levels to different enemies or even multiplayer modes, but for 48 hours I am really proud of what we accomplished. And the best part, you don't have to just watch, you can play it yourself. Our game is available right now on itch.io, so if you want to see if you can outsmart the cat and deliver cheese to those adorable baby hamsters, go check it out, the link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching this devlog. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like, subscribing for more game development content, and commenting below. I would love to hear what you think of the game or if you have ever participated in a game jam yourself. Until next time, happy gaming!